Hello and welcome to my channel, Talisman Tarot. In this reading I want to ask the cards and spirit directly through channeling about the gossip about you. What are people saying about you behind your back? What are the rumors about you? And I have 5 groups that you can choose from. This will be group number 1. This will be group number 2, this will be group number 3, this will be group number 4, and this will be group number 5. And so I will ask you to use your intuition and choose the group that speaks to you the most, the group that catches your eye, and that group will be your group. And if you need any more time to choose, you can always just pause the video, but if you don't need any more time, then I'll just move on to the reading. Hello, group number 1. You chose this Wild Unknown tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling and then I will shuffle the cards for you. Group number 1. So group number 1, the people who will choose group number 1, what's the gossip about group number 1? Okay, so I'm sensing that there might be a few people, like quite a few people talking about you right now, or at the current moment, or not at the current moment, but within the past month or so, or there might have been a lot of people who have had an opinion about you. And so it could be because of something. I am sensing something about a conference or something that you attended, or a wedding, or a birthday, or something that you attended maybe a month ago, or something like that. And so maybe all of this is this might have happened at that conference or wedding or birthday, that people were talking about you at that event. But it's not bad. At all. I'm sensing a few different, some different sets of opinion here. Certain people might have talked about you being a bit stagnant at the moment, that you're not currently doing anything, or that you're not, so you're not, or maybe some of you are just not as active as you used to be. So definitely something about that, but it could, but there's also something else here. Something about your family. I don't know if something happened within your family, but it might be something that people are talking about, some kind of family drama or something. But I'm also sensing that there are like I'm sensing a conversation between some females maybe some of your friends or something who were talking about you in a very positive light. These were all, like, I'm seeing very gala gowns, like, so this seems to be a message for those of you who went to a wedding or something like that, because these women are very dressed up. So I'm sensing that they were actually talking about how they would have, that they would wish that they had something that you have. So it's, some kind of or that they would I don't know what that could be. Like, it's something, maybe you were wearing a dress that was very very outstanding, and so maybe that could have been the thing they were talking about. But I'm just sensing that there was like a group of females talking about something that you had, something materialistic, I think, that you had, that they wanted. So I think, like, there might have been some gossip about, like a positive gossip about where you bought that dress or bought that bag or whatever, that or something. The thing about the stagnant energy, I'm sensing that could have been something that your mother might have said, or that someone within your family might have said to someone else who's also within your family. There's a bit of a concern surrounding you, especially from other family members who think that you're not doing what you're supposed to do career-wise, I think. But everyone else who's not in your family, I think they are very, like, they see you as someone who's actually very possibly prosperous, that you have it all, and I'm sensing that some of your friends are even a bit envious of you. So but I don't think they are envious of your family. I'm sensing that some of your friends know about this family drama, and this family drama could have something to do with your family not approving of who you are or what you're doing. And so maybe you've shared that with your friends, and I think your friends know that your family is kind of dysfunctional or not very supportive of you. So I'm gonna shuffle the cards now. So what's the gossip about group number 1? I'm sensing one thing here. I don't know if I should say this, but I'm sensing that there's one person in your family who's a bit of a creep. I don't know if it's like if it's a blood relative. I don't necessarily think so, but I'm sensing that someone maybe like a tag along to someone in your family, like someone who's not in the family but who has some relation to someone in your family. I'm sensing that someone in your family is kind of talking about you in a weird way. It's kind of like talking about your body, or I don't know. I don't think this message is for all of you. Maybe it's a specific message for one of you, or something. Like if you know who this is and kind of already know that there is a bit of a creep in your family who's a bit weird, or talks about you in a weird way, or looks at you in a weird way, then well, maybe it doesn't come as a surprise, but yeah, like but I'm gonna shuffle now. The High Priestess. So I am sensing that some of you, this was also something I was sensing before, that some of you might have chosen a more alternative career path. Maybe some of you are working as a professional psychic or tarot reader, or spiritual healer, or something like that. And so I think people talk about that. People talk about how you've chosen a different path than what's normal, like not a normal path. But again, that's if it doesn't resonate with you, then that message is for someone else. But I am sensing that if you are doing something alternative, it is something that people talk about. It's something that that people kind of like to gossip about. Like people like to kind of like I don't know. I'm sensing kind of a bad energy here, because I'm sensing that especially people within your family, maybe your sister-in-law or someone in your family, kind of likes to talk about your career choice, because it makes her more it makes her feel better about her career choice, or like so as to like how some people like to talk shit about others so that they can feel better about themselves. And usually it's because they, like, deep down they have certain insecurities about their own career choice, and so they like to talk about other people's bad choices so that they can feel better about their own bad choices. And I don't think you've made a bad choice, it's just the gossip. But I think you've your choice is good. So like, but you're not asking for my opinion about this. So yeah, but with some of you might also be doing something artistic because of this globe here being kind of watercolory, and so maybe you're doing something artistic or painting or something with crystals maybe, and maybe some people in your family don't believe in that sort of thing, and I'm also with a tiger. I'm also thinking of a tiger mom, and so maybe if you're a mom, people could talk about how you're a tiger mom. But if you're not a mom, then this could be your mother who might be a tiger mom and might be talking about how you're not doing what she wants you to do, and maybe also a bit controlling in her way of like maybe your mother wants you to choose a different path or choose the path that she wanted you to choose. But if you are a mother, this could have to do with your way of parenting, that maybe some people feel like you're a bit too overprotective of your children, or even if you don't have children, this could also be how you act around other children. So like if you have nieces and nephews, you might play with them sometimes, or even have them over at your house or something, and maybe some people in your family feel like you're a bit too protective of your nieces and nephews when you play with them. Maybe that you get too concerned whenever they play a bit too rough, or when they do something that's a bit scary, or something like that. That you're maybe a bit protective of children. You don't want them to fall down, and so you're always there to catch them if they fall and stuff like that. That maybe you're a bit too. I'm sensing the word neurotic, but yeah. So maybe there's also some people who feel like you're. Maybe that's also the stagnant energy. Not that it has anything to do with what I just said, but maybe some people in your family, especially I'm just sensing that a lot of the gossip is within your family. But I'm sensing that some people in your family might be talking about how you're too scared to start anything, that you're stagnant right now in your career or in your studies or in something or that you're just too scared to start something new, or that you just have to push yourself more, and that maybe if some of you are suffering from anxiety, you might have chosen to take a break from your studies or from work and get your anxiety in order, and maybe some of your family members don't understand why you had to take a break, that you should have just kept going and pushed yourself more or something. So I'm sensing that some people feel like you're not you're not pushing, you're not forcing yourself to do things that they feel like you should be forcing yourself to do. That you're that you're saying no to too many things. Like maybe some of your family members and possibly friends too. This might also be about your friends. Feel like that you say no to too many things. Like when they ask you if you want to go to the movies or go to, then maybe you've said no for a bit, for a few too many times now, that they might be feeling like you're not that you're not putting yourself out there, or that you're not pushing yourself, that you're maybe using your anxiety as an excuse to get out of certain things, or but with the High Priestess, I am sensing that that there's one person, a male, a very tall man, not a young man who's very tall. It could be different for some of you, but for most of you, I think this is the common denominator, that it's a tall young man. But there could be, it could be relative, like maybe tall, maybe he's not that tall for some of you, maybe he's just tall in comparison to you. But I'm sensing that he's talking very fondly of you. You haven't seen him for a while now. It's someone you're it's someone you used to be kind of close to, or you used to talk to them often in the past. Now you haven't been talking that much, but he's talking about you, like he's not gossiping about you, but it's like you come up in certain conversations, because I think there's one thing that you said to him once that he keeps quoting you on. Like he keeps telling people that he used to know someone who said that to him once, and so I'm just sensing you come up in conversations a lot, for this person, in this person's conversations. But like he doesn't mention you directly. Like the High Priestess is quite anonymous, so he doesn't talk about you by name. He just says like that he used to have a friend, or that he used to know someone who said that. So I'm sensing that it could have been something about either psychology or philosophy or cognitive science or something, like something you said about it was something this person found very interesting, and it changed their look on something, like their outlook on something. But yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna shuffle and find out if there's more gossip about you, group number 1. Nine of Cups. So I think there could be some talk about how you've retreated, or that you've withdrawn from the world. It seems as if some people are talking about how you just disappeared from one moment to the other. That once you were like very, very active, and then suddenly you just didn't show up to social things. And I think some people are asking each other, like, where did you go? Like, where did you disappear to? Like, because of the High Priestess here, like, so I'm sensing you are a bit of a mystery right now to people. You didn't, like, you didn't used to be a mystery. Like, you weren't a mystery before, because I'm sensing, like, when you were socially active, I'm just sensing that there was a time period where you were very socially active. In that time period, people felt like you were very, very open and very, like, they felt like they knew you very, like, personally. Like, you seemed very familiar to people. People felt like you were also very, what you see is what you get. Like, people felt like you were an open book, and very honest and very very sharing of your emotions, and then suddenly you just withdrew from it all, and that is sort of the mystery. Like, people feel like, where so and with the Nine of Cups, I think some people might be talking about how you are a bit of a monk right now, that you're maybe also not sexually active at the moment, that you're going through a bit of a dry spell or something. That might be something some people are gossiping about. Or that I think it's more that people just feel like you need to put yourself out there more and do more in order to find love or something. That you've been single for too long or something. I don't know. I don't even know if you're single, but if you are single, then I think people are talking about that, especially those around you who are in a relationship. They, of course, feel like it's the best thing in the world to be in a relationship, and so they want you to experience the same joy that they feel as they are in a relationship themselves. There's also something about nesting. Some of you might be nesting right now, or some people around you might be joking around about how you're nesting, or maybe you have been joking around about it too. Like, there's something where I think you're very, you might be very focused on creating a lovely environment for you in your apartment or in your house or in your, like, so you might be very much into decorating at the moment, and so maybe you're pushing furniture around constantly. Like, every day you might be pushing your couch over to the other side of the room or something, like, because you, maybe also because you feel like there's something like you haven't really settled yet in your place, and you feel like every which way you put your furniture, like it's like it doesn't, no matter what, you don't really feel like it makes sense, or I don't know, it's but maybe that's a specific message for a few of you, so if it doesn't resonate again, then just ignore it. But I'm also, of course, there could be someone especially in your family, who's talking about how you're a bit of a shopaholic, or that you're buying too much stuff and buying too much like decorative stuff, that you have too many pillows, or that you are buying pillows even though you have 10 pillows in your couch already, or whatever. Or that there's just something that you're hoarding, that you have a collection of something and you keep adding to that collection. There could also be something about how you're maybe going a bit crazy in preparing for the worst. Like, if some of you are living in Europe right now, or in not necessarily just Europe, but like in a country near, in a country near Russia and Ukraine, then maybe you might be buying certain things in order, like, if there would be a nuclear disaster or something, then so maybe some of you are like buying what's it called, iodine pills or something like that in order to be prepared for if something should happen. And maybe someone in your family has noticed that you did that, and might have felt like you're a bit overly scared because of it, or that you're a bit paranoid, or that you're paranoid is not the word, like more just preparing for the worst, like a bit neurotic in a way. But yeah, that's more like, that's not my opinion, by the way. Like, it's just someone around you who's, and it's again, it's specific for a few of you. If you have done that, like if you've bought some iodine pills just in case, then maybe someone noticed and felt like that was insane to do. But even though it's not really that insane. So Father of Swords. So there's an owl on this card, and I am sensing that for some of you, I think there could be some gossip about how you need to get back to school. Like if you've dropped out of school, some people might feel like you need to start studying again because you have so much potential, and that you're wasting your potential because you're not in school or something like that. And there's also like this sword here always makes me think of a lightsaber, which makes me think of Star Wars, which makes me think of movies, like in general. So maybe some of you see a lot of movies or TV shows, and maybe you do that a lot of the time. Like maybe you and so maybe some people around you feel like you're maybe a bit addicted to watching television, that you're using it as escapism, or that it's getting, like if some of you are studying right now, then maybe some people are gossiping about how you're watching too many TV shows instead of studying, that you should be studying instead, that you don't have time to be watching TV, and that you should prioritize your time or something. Or that TV is getting in the way of your studying, like that that maybe you failed an exam, and so maybe someone was like talking or gossiping about how it was because you were watching too many TV shows at the time when you should have been studying. This could have been a roommate of yours, like someone who actually has been witnessing you while studying. But with Three of Pentacles, yeah, again with the studying, it seems as if some people are saying that you need to be studying, that yeah, so it's kind of the same message. There's a mountain here, so there's also like a mountain of think, like I'm picturing like a mountain of books that you need to read, or a mountain of papers that you need to look through, or something. Like there's just a lot of work that needs to be done or something, and you're not really going at it, like you're not doing the work. Instead you're wasting your time on other things, or so with 7 of Swords, I am, yeah, I'm also like, if you are studying at the moment, then I think some of your classmates might feel like you're a bit antisocial, or that you're not really being a part of the group, or maybe you don't have a study group or something, and maybe you've chosen to study alone, and I think some of your classmates feel like you're that they feel like you should be in a group, that you're not really supposed to go it alone, and so I think some of your classmates might feel like you're not doing yourself any favors by being alone in this. But if you're not studying at the moment, this could also have something to do with you just being a lone wolf in general, that you're maybe a bit lonely at the moment, or that people are concerned that you're lonely. Especially the people around you who are in a relationship, they might see you as a single person and take pity on you because they think you're completely lonely and pitiful because you're single, even though maybe you're just really fine being single. But yeah, I'm also sensing that for some of you, you might have some kind of strategy when it comes to something, and you might feel like you're brilliant because you have this strategy. I don't know really what this is about, but it could, like, if you're studying, then you might have a strategy when it comes to studying, where maybe you don't do any studying until a few weeks before the exam, and then you study a lot, or study non-stop up until the exam, and maybe that's your big strategy that you believe is very brilliant because it makes you remember this stuff more when you actually go to the exam, and so it's really like everything else is a bit of a waste of time or something. And I think other people might look at your strategy and think that it's not a good strategy. This could have something to do with something else too. Like it could also be something at work. Like if you work, then maybe you have some kind of strategy at work, where if you work in retail, you might have some strategy to how to do something that makes it quicker, or something where you don't have to do as much work, or something where you can it's that you have some kind of shortcut in your everyday life that you use, that you believe is very brilliant, and maybe it also is very brilliant, but I think some people around you are haters and don't think it's that great of an idea. Or maybe, like, I'm sensing that for some of you, like if you are working or studying, either or, I'm sensing that you have someone who's either a classmate or a coworker who is a bit, who might be on the spectrum. So he could be a bit autistic, or this could be a woman too, a bit autistic, and like this person really likes to play by the rules and do everything by the book. And so if you have some kind of shortcut that you use, where you don't do it by the book, then I think this person is a bit on edge around you when you do that, because they feel like that's not how you're supposed to do it. So that could be a thing. But yeah, I think I think that's all I have for you, group number 1. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and even if it wasn't helpful, subscribe to my channel anyways, like, yeah. And yeah, I hope you will watch my next video, and also if you want a personal reading from me, then there's information about that in the description box below, so make sure to check that out. And yeah, have a nice day, and bye. Hello, group number 2. You chose the Wonderland Tarot, and I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you. So group number 2, the people who will choose group number 2. Group number 2. What's the gossip about group number 2? Okay, so there's something about drinking all night and working all day. So it's like okay. I think it's more specific for a few of you, but I'm sensing that like I know this won't resonate with all of you, but for some of you there might be some kind of rumor going on that you're a bit that you have a bit of a wild life. I don't know if anyone, I didn't think anyone had wild lives right at the moment, but well, of course there, but yeah, there might be some people talking about how you might go out in the weekends, and but that you're still working weekends. So maybe people are talking about how they don't understand how you can go out drinking and then go to work the next day. That might be something. It might not be something you do all the time, but I think you've done it a few times, and I think people have noticed that you've done it a few times, and so they talk about it. or maybe it's I think there might also have been like some kind of party at work, where you were at a party at work where it became very late, like you're and you were maybe one of the last to go home. So maybe some of your co-workers noticed that. With Ace of Oysters reversed, which is Ace of Pentacles reversed, people might be talking about how you are spending too much money at the moment, or maybe that you are a bit broke at the moment, like you don't have a lot of money, or maybe you don't have a steady income right now, or that maybe you lost a second income due to something, that you used to have two incomes but now you only have one. Maybe some of you are in a relationship, and so it could be the person that you're in a relationship with that has lost his or her income, and so people are talking about how you are affected by that. But I'm also sensing that there is something that you bought that people feel like that was maybe a bit that you used, that you spent too much money on one thing. So maybe you've made a very large purchase recently that people don't understand why you did that, or people don't really or people understand it, but they just feel like maybe it wasn't the right time, or that maybe you should have waited until you both, if you are in a relationship, and if that resonated with you, that your counterpart is not in a job right now, then maybe people are talking about how you should have waited to make that purchase until he or she gets a job, or something like that. Of course, with the Six of Pentacles, I am sensing that people feel like you're very patient and understanding, and that could be about, like, I'm sensing that you are very supportive of one person in your life who might not be in a job, and if it's not your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife or something like that, then maybe it's someone in your family who you help financially, or maybe a parent of yours or something. And I think people feel like you're wasting your money maybe on this person, that you're too patient with them, that you're too understanding, that you need to push them to get a job so that they can help you financially, so that you don't just throw money into a black hole and never see that money again. But I'm also sensing that people see you as, like, people talk about you as very caring. Like, you're the type of person who thinks of others before you think of yourself. And with the thing I was channeling before about how you're the last one to go home after a party or something, that could also be because you're so caring. Like, you want to make sure that everyone is safe and everyone's home before you leave. Like, you want to make sure that everyone is taken care of. Or maybe that, like, if you are invited to a party, then you stay the whole time because you want to pay respect to the host. Like, you don't want to be the first one to leave because that would be rude or something. I'm sensing that people feel like you're a very polite and very thoughtful person. And I think people talk about that. Like, they talk about but they also talk about how responsible you are. And that's also the thing about it was a weird message about how you drink all night and work all day. It's a weird message, but I don't think it's like, I'm more sensing that people talk about how you are so responsible. I know that it's not really responsible, but people talk about how it's kind of admirable that you don't cancel. Like, you don't cancel on a party if you have to go to work the next day, and you don't cancel on work if you're hungover. Like, you manage to go do everything at once. Like, maybe people also feel like you're a bit of a people pleaser, that you put on too much, that it wouldn't hurt you to maybe cancel on things once in a while. Like, you don't have to be a martyr, and you don't have to always survive through everything. Like, you're allowed to say no to a party if you have work, and you're also in a way allowed to cancel on or call in sick at work, to your workplace, if of course you shouldn't, but or reschedule or ask someone to take your shift, or so with the Hanged Man, I'm sensing that you are, people are talking about how okay, so one thing, you might be a bit bad at texting back. I'm sensing that you always text back. Like, you always like, you don't leave anyone hanging, but you just have so much on your plate that sometimes you check a text, or you check like a Facebook message, and then you have so much work to do that you that you think like, oh, I'll text them back later when I don't have that much work, and then you forget about it. And so maybe you have a good reason for being late at texting, but I think people feel like they have to wait and wait and wait in order to hear from you, even though you always text them back at some point. Like, but sometimes it might have been days before you reacted, and some people around you might have taken offense to that, especially because you are such a caring person. You have so much heart for others, and you do so much. You go the extra mile for everyone, but I think like when people see you go the extra mile for others, they might feel like you're not doing that for them, even though I think you are. But they, like, when these people see you go the extra mile for someone else, they don't know that maybe you actually had rescheduled that a few times before you actually did that. So what they saw as you doing something like special for someone might have been a long process. It might have been a long time in the making, or how you, I don't know. But I think like you do a lot of very nice things for people, but of course it takes time. Like if you want to be there 100% for everyone, then some people will have to wait sometimes, and but yeah, I think people might also talk about, this is not like necessarily gossip, but more just like, I think people compliment your cooking skills behind your back, probably also to your face, but I think like people like if people have something that they need to have, like if people are thinking of throwing a party, they mention you, like if they mention you in the conversation, like should we call her or him and make them cater to the party, or so but that might be specific for a few of you, so it might not resonate with all of you. With a Nine of Cups reversed, I think people feel like people might feel like sometimes you have these you might have these moments where you get a bit, I don't want to say needy, because I don't think you're needy at all, but you might sometimes have this strong feeling of wanting to be with someone or wanting to talk to someone, and sometimes you can be a bit. I think this is more like I think it's one person in your life or some like who feels like you get a bit persistent when you're needy, but I think that person also realizes that this only happens very rarely. Like you get needy very rarely. Like it's very rare. But when it happens, like I think you get a bit. Like it's because you do so much for others and you put other people first, and so whenever you want something or want support or want to talk to someone, you expect people to just be there for you. But I think you get a bit disappointed if they aren't there for you. And maybe you get a bit like, maybe you give people like a bit, like you make people feel bad for not being there for you. And you might say things like how you've helped them so many times, so why can't they help you this one time? And I understand, like I think most people can relate to that, but I think what I'm just sensing that you need to understand that you rarely need people. So and when it happens and when it's so rare, it catches people by surprise. Like people are not expecting it, and so people need some time to adjust to the situation because it's something they're not used to. You're used to helping people. You're used to having people around you that are kind of needy towards you, and you're used to kind of like you're used to their neediness. People are not used to you being needy, and so when you're acting a bit needy, then people they don't know how to react to it, and so they react in a wrong way or not in the way that you want them to, and so it's not that they don't want to be there for you. It's just that they didn't expect you to, like they it just catches people by surprise, and so they need time to adjust. So with it also with there could be something about you not wanting any handouts, which also makes it very hard to help you because you might be the type of person who doesn't want charity from others. So like when people offer you help, you don't accept it. You say no to help, like if people offer. And maybe you do that as a reflex, like every time people offer you something, you just say no thank you, like as a reflex. And so people have this idea of you as someone who doesn't want to have charity, or who doesn't want people's help, who doesn't want people to take pity on you, who doesn't, and so when you then ask for help, people feel like they don't really know what the right response is, because they know you respond quite negatively when people offer you help. So they don't know if they should help you or not when you come and ask for it, because they don't want to take pity on you if they feel like that would be something you don't want from them. And so they don't really know how to react to it. So yeah, I'll shuffle some more and see if there's more gossip about you. Group number 2. Ace of Swords. So, or Ace of Flamingos. So I think some people might I'm sensing that one person in your life, or feels like you're a bit of a gossip. But I think it's actually just one person, and I think it's someone who's actually very close to you, and I think that's why you feel safe enough to gossip around this person. I think this might be the only person in your life that you feel comfortable enough around, so that you actually can talk shit about other people with them. And maybe you might have that one friend that you can bitch about other people with. And for some reason, I think this person might feel like you're talking a bit too much shit about others, which is like it's a I don't know. That it's all a bit too negative, but this person also knows that they are contributing to the negativity too. That when you two are together, I don't think this person blames you for it. I think it's just the dynamic, and I think they feel like they also feel so comfortable around you that they feel like they can gossip about others to you as well, and so they also feel that liberty to say whatever is on their mind when they are around you. But I think for some reason they feel like maybe this dynamic is a bit too negative, or that you two become a bit negative, or negative bitches together, like when you two are together. This person could also have recently joined some kind of positivity cult. So that could be why. But with the Five of Swords reversed, there could be some people, maybe especially in your family, who talks about how you've been, I think you might have trusted someone you shouldn't have trusted in the past, someone who broke your trust, or someone who took advantage of your trust, or someone who took advantage of you, and maybe you're healing from that experience. Or maybe someone took advantage of your kindness, or even your maybe someone asked you for financial support and you gave it to them, and maybe they scammed you or something, or just took the money and left or something. And so maybe I'm sensing that some of the people in your family feel like that of course this was very unjust and unfair that you had to go through that. But I'm also sensing that they feel like you shouldn't change. That, like, especially in your nearest, like your parents, I think your parents feel like they raised you well, like they raised you into being a very trusting person, and that's not a bad thing. So, or something like that, that you were just unlucky that this happened to you, that you shouldn't put yourself down because this happened, that you shouldn't make it, you shouldn't think it's your fault, that this happened to you, that it was just bad luck, and it was the other person who of course was to blame for this, but also bad luck, I think. But the High Priestess is here as well, so I am like this, like some. This is like what's it called? Like when you. I don't know if she's doing it, but it makes me think of someone who not someone who sues or sews, but someone who, like, whatever, someone who does arts and crafts stuff. There could be you could do something that is like that, like. And I think people might talk about how you might do your craft, your whatever craft you do, you might do it out in public, and I think people talk about that, like they see you do it, and so they what's the word crochet? Sorry. When yeah. But sorry, but yeah, people might see you do some kind of craft out in public, and I think people admire you for doing that. But I also think some people feel a bit offended by it because they feel like you do it every time you get bored, and so they feel like you're if you do it while having a conversation with another person, they might feel like you're getting bored with the conversation, and that's why you're start doing your craft. But I think you're just like I think it's the opposite. I think that's just what people don't understand, is that you do it because you actually are so invested in the conversation that you want to listen better, and so you some of you might listen more focused, like you're more focused when you do something with your hands while having a conversation. But and maybe it also helps you. Some of you might have a bit of a hard time with eye contact, which I get because I'm very bad at eye contact. But maybe some of you feel like when you're doing some kind of craft with your hands while having a conversation, then you can look down while having the conversation and look at, and so that might help you feel a bit less awkward from not maintaining eye contact. So but yeah, I think it kind of like you can see there's like a water here, and like there's like it kind of makes me think that you split the waters or separate the waters a bit with this crocheting. Isn't that crochet? Yeah, crocheting, I think. Like I think many people think it's kind of cool that you do that. Other people are a bit offended by it because they feel like you're making them feel like you're bored with them, or but of course this might only resonate with some of you. I don't think all of you are crocheting or doing some kind of craft. Maybe you do some kind of other thing with your hand, like maybe you get a bit fidgety when you are in the midst of a conversation, and so you like to pick things up and wiggle them around, and or do something with your hands while talking, and people might notice that you do that. Like you might be the type of person who, like, if you sit at a restaurant and just talk to someone, you might start like looking at the menu, opening up the menu, closing it, and taking up the salt and putting it back, and like looking at it, and looking at the label, and checking the beer label, and like and looking and just doing stuff like that while having the conversation, which might make people feel like you're not really paying attention to the conversation, but I think you actually do, but you just have to have something to do with your hands or while having the conversation. So maybe you're also the type of person who picks the the label of the beer, like when you talk to people. So that yeah. But I think that's all I have for you, group number 2. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more info on how to get one. And I hope you'll watch my next video as well. And have a nice day. Hello, group number 3. You chose this Jolanda Tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you. Group number 3. The people who will choose group number 3. Group number 3. What's the gossip about group number 3? Oh, okay, so I'm sensing that that there might be some gossip about love. Like someone, I don't know if someone is in love with you, or if you're in love with someone, or maybe there's some rumors going on that you have a secret relationship with someone. Or that you're seeing someone. So there's some, I feel like someone has seen you with someone, walking around with someone, maybe even for some of you, or this might be a specific message for one of you, or but I'm sensing that that someone saw you walk hands in hands with someone, like holding hands with someone out in the street, or like someone just saw you randomly, and so they started talking to someone else about it, and then I think people just started talking about it and started and it might not have been someone you maybe it wasn't even someone that you were in a relationship with. Maybe it could have just been your brother or sister, or someone, but it could also be that you have a secret relationship with someone and you haven't made it official yet, so that could but or maybe someone just saw you with a friend of yours, and maybe it looked a bit intimate, like you. I am sensing that that someone might have said that you two would make a good couple. So maybe it's not even that it's a secret relationship that you have with someone, or something like, or maybe or something like that. Maybe it's just someone who's probably a friend of yours who has seen you with someone else and who feels like you two would make a good couple, and so she's talking about that with other people as well, and telling other people that she feels like you two would make a good couple. And maybe she's even like planning on trying to push you two together. This could be your sister, like if you have a sister. It might be someone who's meddling in your love life, who's trying to see who would be a good fit for you, and who's trying to like set you up with someone, or maybe this is maybe like I'm sensing that someone you know might have a coworker that they feel like would be a very good fit for you, and so I think they are talking about how they want to try to push you together, or make a blind date, or so. This person, that like there could be someone you don't know who you will be contacted by, maybe in the near future. You will have someone, or maybe there will be a set up a blind date or something. So yeah, it's but again, it could be specific for some of you. So with the Ace of Pentacles, I'm sensing that people feel like you're very like I think people talk about you as very grounded, like you're a very grounded person. You could be an earth sign, like you could be, but I'm just sensing that people talk about how you are very stable, like, and you're very, like you never change. This could also be about your looks, like people who have known you since you were very young might still feel like you look exactly the same. Even though you've aged, they still just feel like you look exactly the same as you did 10 years ago or something. But also that you are the same person, like you never change your personality, like you always remain the same. And I think you have a lot of friends from the past that you don't see that often. Like you might see them once a year, but every time you see them, it's like no time has passed. Like you just go straight back to the how you were with each other a year ago. So and people really like that about you. People like that that you never change, that you are always the same fun person, and you're and like your sense of humor never changes. It's always the same. Like you might have a very like some of you might be in a relationship right now with a very boring person. I don't think you're in a relationship with a boring person, but I think some of your friends or family members might feel like this person is boring, and I think they feel like you have not become boring by being with this person. Like, so they like that you haven't changed your sense of humor just because you have relations with someone who is not as funny as you. So, but again, that's maybe specific for some of you. But for those of you where that does resonate, that you are in a relationship, that then again, the thing I was talking about in the beginning about love, maybe people are talking about your relationship. Like people might talk about how, like I think people talk about you a lot as a unit. Like if you are in a relationship, they talk about you as a couple. That maybe you're a bit of an odd couple, but a good, you seem to be a good couple, even if it seems as if you wouldn't be compatible, but you make it work magically. But again, that's maybe specific for a few of you. And King of Pentacles, if some of you are in a relationship with an earth sign, I think some people might be talking about how you shouldn't be in that relationship. Maybe that they are a bit too boring for you, and that they are not up to your level. That you need someone who can match your vibration and match your energy more. But I think, and that could be the thing about the ground, how people feel like you're very grounded right now, and maybe you didn't use, maybe you weren't grounded before, like maybe you were all over the place, and maybe people really liked that about you, that you were a bit all over the place. And so they might feel like maybe that's because this person is influencing you. So it's okay, there's like a weird noise. I don't know what it is. Like, I thought it was my stomach growling, but then I realized it wasn't. So, like, what makes a growling sound that isn't my stomach? Okay, the sound stopped, so maybe it's nothing. But yeah, King of Pentacles reversed. So yeah, someone might have a bad influence on you, making you a bit. But again, people still talk about how you have remained your sense of humor and stuff like that. But it seems as if people feel like you're a bit too settled at the moment, that you need to get back to being all over the place and being like high vibration or something, like that you need to get your groove back or something. Maybe you used to be a bit like a bit loud as well, like a bit and maybe you're not so loud anymore, like maybe you're a bit more restricted, or a bit more like you filter yourself, maybe, like you don't say like everything that comes to your mind, like you might be a bit more thoughtful now than you used to be. Maybe you used to like maybe you used to... Okay, so with the star here reversed, I think you used to actually play a part. So like, I think you played a role before. Like, I think the person that you were before is not necessarily who you were. Like, I think you were playing a role, like you were maybe playing a bit more extroverted than you really were, that you were a bit over the top and acting like you were like that, like you were purposely trying to force it to make people like you, and maybe you also forced your jokes, like made a lot of jokes all the time because you wanted people to like you, or and so maybe it was actually a bit of an act, like this person here, she's wearing like a polar bear costume, and that's also like the polar bear became white because it adjusted. So maybe you also were this loud, funny person because you adjusted to your environment, and maybe you were surrounded by a lot of funny, over-the-top people at the time, and then now you are more surrounded around more calm and settled people, and maybe that's not a good. Maybe that's not a bad thing to have. Like, maybe this is actually more the real you, like the more close to who you really are at a core level. So yeah. Maybe you don't actually like to be the center of attention. Maybe you like to be a bit more in the background. And so I just feel like certain people feel like you used to be an extrovert, and now you're a bit more introverted and a bit more withdrawn and a bit more, maybe even a bit silent. Like you don't talk as much as you did before. But and for some reason, I think people are trying to find someone to blame for this. Like if you are in a relationship, they blame them for changing you into becoming more introverted than you were before, or maybe they blame someone else. Like if you have a friend who you are very close to, maybe they blame them, or they blame like I'm just sensing that people are trying to find someone to blame for why you changed, but maybe you just changed out of your own like your own will. Like you changed because you changed, like because of something, like something within yourself, like that it wasn't the environment that you adjusted to in order to become like this, this was actually that you just became more yourself, or that now you're more your true self than you were before, because before you were just adjusting to your environment, acting in a certain way in order to please your environment. So, but again, like even though people might talk about how you this message is very counterintuitive, because I was talking about how people feel like you haven't changed, and then now I'm talking about how people feel like you have changed. But maybe these are different people in your life, like, but I think, or people might see that you have changed your personality, but they don't feel like you've changed your looks, or like you still look the same as you did 10 years ago, but maybe you are different personally, but or the other way. No, not the other way around, but I don't know. Or maybe the other way around. Maybe you look a bit different now than you did 10 years ago. Like maybe you did a lot in order to fit in before. Like maybe you used to hang out a lot with some females who were very into makeup and extensions and dressing in a certain way, and maybe you adjusted to them and tried to do that, and so you might have had extensions and makeup and dressed in a certain way in order to fit in, and maybe you have become more natural now, and so maybe some people think like you look like a completely different person now, but really you just look like you, like more naturally you. So yeah. But I think that's all I have for you, group number 3. I hope this reading was helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And yeah, I hope you'll have a nice day, and bye. Hello, group number 4. You chose the Alcohol Tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you. So group number 4, the people who will choose group number 4. What's the gossip about group number 4? I'm sensing that someone here is bitter right now. Someone in your friend group, or maybe I don't. But someone close to you is a bit bitter because of something that you supposedly did, or that she believes that you did. This could have had something to do with you being seductive towards their partner. Like I'm sensing that you were, or that someone is mad at you because they believe you flirted with their partner. Even if you didn't, but you might have just been very friendly towards their partner, and so maybe there's no truth to this, but I'm just sensing that she's gossiping about this, and she's gossiping about how you are trying to that you're that you're not respecting the boundaries or the bro code or the girl code or whatever, like that you're supposed to stay away from your friend's partner. And I think you were, but maybe you were being friendly and that wasn't allowed or something. I don't know. Maybe you showed too much interest in their partner. Like maybe that was a crime. Like sometimes friends can feel like other friends are not paying enough attention to their, or not asking enough questions to their partner, and not showing enough interest to their partner, and so that's sometimes an issue. And I'm also sensing that might have been an issue for you in the past, that you have some best friend or a friend of yours is in a relationship, and maybe you haven't showed interest in that relationship, and this person might even have talked to you about it, and asked you to show more interest, and then you might have met their partner, and so you showed interest and started asking questions and started being very nice to them because you thought that was what you were supposed to do, and then your friend saw that as you flirting, and so like you can't really win with this person. So like it's a maybe a specific message for one of you or a few of you. So but I'm just like, if that resonates, like if you know that your friend is a bit crazy in that way, like then I think it is likely that they are talking about that to other people as well, and gossiping and starting rumors about it, like about how you're flirting with their man or woman. But I don't think you did, and like it's a bit annoying. Well, some of you did, but again, like you might have been very drunk at the time, and so maybe you didn't really know you were doing it. So, yeah, but I'm sensing for some of you this happened a while back, and so like it's kind of like this person should be over it by now. So like I'm sensing that this bitterness is maybe taking, like it's maybe a bit just like a bit too much. But with the Eight of Swords, I think there might be some rumors about you not that you're not completely seeing eye to eye with someone. So there might be someone you're fighting with. Again, it could be the same person. But I'm sensing a conflict between one person, or I am sensing that it might be the same. And other people are talking about this as well, like that you have this feud going on, that they don't really understand why this feud is going on, like why you're having this beef with this person, and why they are having this beef with you, because you used to be so good friends. So why are you not like maybe you're not talking to each other right now, and I think other people feel like it's kind of childish that you're not talking. That you should sort it out, because you clearly have a good friendship, like you or you used to have a good friendship. So so yeah, I think people are hoping that you will sort this out, because I'm sensing that like you have the same friend group. Like if this person who's bitter at you right now is in the same friend group as you are in, then I think you have friends in common who are siding with you, but I think there are also friends that are siding with her in this, but I think mostly they just want you to sort it out on your own. Like they don't really want to take sides, because they feel like you just need to sort it out. But with the Queen of Daggers, that's Queen of Pentacles. I think you two, like, of course, this person could be an earth sign who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with an earth sign, like if you're dealing with a Virgo, then you're never gonna win this argument. You just have to you just have to maybe accept that you can't win the argument. I'm a Virgo myself, and so I know, like, I'm horrible to argue with, like, because I will never stop arguing until the other person just tells me that I'm right and that they are wrong, because that's just, yeah, I'm very stubborn in that way, and I always believe I'm right, and that is very annoying, and it's a very annoying trait that I have. But yeah, so if you're dealing with a Virgo, maybe just tell them that they are right and you're wrong, and then move on, because then you can settle it. Like it won't be more of an issue if you just say that. Then you can hug it out, and then it will all be fine. So yeah. But what's the gossip? Okay, the Empress. So there is a fortune teller here on the card, and so maybe there's also some gossip a bit about you having some psychic abilities, or that you're interested in astrology or spirituality. But I'm also sensing that some people might feel like you're a bit too much into spiritual stuff, that maybe you also take too much advice from spiritual people or psychics. Like maybe some people know that you go to a psychic, or something, that you have like a clairvoyant that you go to once a month or something, or it might be specific for a few of you, but some people in close to you might feel like that's a bit weird, first of all, but also that maybe you are getting some bad advice from this psychic, that maybe you have told some people around you that you have gotten this and that advice from a psychic, or that you've heard that your psychic has told you this and that, and I think some of the people around you feel like you believe too much in it, that you shouldn't believe so much that that's the truth. Maybe you've used it against someone at some point, like maybe some psychic told you something about a person, and then you went to that person and said that a psychic told you this and that, and maybe they felt like you were a bit gullible, that you believed that a psychic could tell you what they thought, and maybe, I don't know, but I don't know. Or maybe there might be some non-believers around you, and like if you are a psychic or a certified psychic or something, like working as a psychic, then maybe some people around you feel like that you're scamming people, that like if people around you don't believe in that kind of stuff, of course they would think that you're scamming people because they don't believe that you can actually do what you can do, and so there might be some skeptics around you that believe that your profession is unethical or something like that. But with this is also the Empress, and maybe people feel like you are also very if you're a there's something here about how you you might react quite emotionally sometimes, like you're sometimes a bit too much in your feelings, maybe you maybe you can maybe you have a tendency to cry sometimes, maybe when you're angry, maybe you cry when you're angry, and so people think you're crying because like that you're but it's because you're so angry that you start crying, and maybe people feel like you're just whiny or something, like, but some people cry when they get angry, and so it's a thing, but but maybe some people feel like you're doing it, like that you're purposely crying, even if you're not, like that you're purposely trying to like get out of, like if you started crying when your friend accused you of being or accused you of flirting with a partner, or then you might have started crying because you got so angry that they accused you of that, and then they might have misinterpreted that as you trying to get out of the pickle by forcing tears out, or it's just I don't know. I'm also sensing that there is another thing, like a family member of yours who's very close to you might be talking to another family member about how you are not getting enough sleep. Like it seems as if there might be some kind of concern about you not sleeping enough, or that you have a weird sleep pattern, that you're awake in the night and then you sleep all day, or sleep in the day and then you are up at night. And that they are concerned about this, even though maybe they don't actually have to be concerned, because maybe you just have this the exact maybe you get exactly the same amount of sleep as everyone else, but you just get it on weird times, and so with the Queen of Wands, which is Queen of Cups, there might be some people who feel like you're a bit too again with the emotional thing, you might be a bit sensitive to criticism, like when people say something to you that might not like you might get very defensive when people accuse you of, I think it's especially when people accuse you of having ill intentions, then you might get a bit sensitive, or you might react in a very emotional way to it, because you get very hurt when and angry when people accuse you of something you haven't done, or that you weren't trying to do, like when people misunderstand you. I think you might get very defensive, to the point where people might see you as a bit whiny, for like because of the wine, but not like necessarily whiny, but like that. But it's again, it's a gossip, and so like it's rumors, and so it doesn't have to be like the truth. But I'm just sensing that maybe one person, it could even be that bitter person that I was talking about in the beginning, who sees you as a bit whiny, or talks about you as that you're a bit whiny, or that you're trying to wiggle yourself out of this whole situation that you're in by trying to cry yourself out of it or something, or of course this might not resonate with all of you. It's just something that's coming in. Maybe it's specific for a few of you, and but I'm just sensing that people might feel like you are overly sensitive, but again, that's perspective, like their perspective. Maybe you're not really that sensitive. Maybe you just react to things. Like you don't overreact, you just react to things, and maybe other people see you as overreacting to things, that you're causing a fight, or that you're trying to start some drama or start a fight with people, when you're actually just when you're just reacting to other people who are saying things to you, that like that it's just a reaction, that people might be wrong to expect you to not react at all, that it's not healthy to keep feelings bottled up inside either. And so and sometimes it's the only way to actually solve a conflict is to talk about it, and talk about where it went wrong, and what made the other one react in what way, and like why did they react this way and this way, like what is the root cause to the conflict, and stuff like that. You might have a tendency to want to talk about your feelings and other people's feelings a lot. Maybe you're also the type of person who asks people all the time, like, how are you feeling? And like you really want to get deep into like how people are actually feeling. Like you and people might feel like you're a bit like, maybe that's why people feel like you're whiny, but that you're trying to make them become whiny as well, or that you are talking too much about feelings when, or I don't know, that you're too concerned with people's feelings, that you should just let it go. Also, if people feel a certain way towards you, you might not like that. Like you don't like it when people feel a certain way about you. Like you want people to like you. Like if people dislike you, that might be something that you have a hard time letting go of. And so you want to fix it and like talk about it and ask them like over and over again why do they feel that way, and maybe other people feel like you are that you shouldn't be doing that you should just accept that other people just that some people just don't like you, and that there's nothing to do about it, and that you're actually just causing yourself more harm this way, because you're putting yourself in a position where people are just constantly criticizing you, because you invite them to do so in a way. Instead of just ignoring the haters, you actually start a conversation with them on why they hate you, and of course that's a bit hurtful to and it's a clear path to become hurt. And so I think people feel like you should just ignore the haters, because then you can save yourself from that conversation with them about what they hate about you. I think you have a lot of friends who feel like you should just be who you are and be okay with who you are, and be okay with not everyone liking everything about you, and just be more confident in yourself. And but yeah, I think you have like some very loyal friends who actually want you to just close the door on some of the bad seeds, like the bad friends that you have that aren't really good for you. And so, I'm also sensing that some of your friends feel like you are prioritizing the bad friends over the good friends that they are. And so like I am sensing that some of your friends feel like you're kind of neglecting them, and that you're not really seeing them, and that you're so focused on these people who keep pissing you off, that you're not actually paying attention to those who are not pissing you off at all, but actually the opposite. So yeah, I think you might some of your friends might feel like you feel like you're actually searching for drama, because like there might be one of your you might have one friend that you always go to whenever you get tangled into some drama, and maybe that friend feels like you only get into that drama so that you can talk to them about it, and they might have thought about how maybe you feel like you can't come to them unless you have some drama to share with them. And I think they actually feel like this person might feel a bit sad about that. Like they feel like sad that you would feel that way, that you feel like you're not interesting unless you have some drama to share. Like this is a message that's maybe this is maybe a specific message, but for one of you, I don't know. But I'm just like getting that someone has had that thought, and maybe even talked to other people about it, that maybe you're seeking drama in order to become interesting, or that so that you can talk to people about the drama and kind of get people's attention that way, and that it's sad that you feel that way, because it's like they feel like you're insecure about your worth because they feel like you should know that you are interesting enough on your own. Like you don't have to have drama to share in order to be interesting, because you are an interesting person. But like it's I don't know. That's a bit of a bummer. Like I even feel like this is a close friend of yours, so it's like a bit yeah, I don't know. Like this person feels like they feel a bit they feel a bit bad, or they feel like they share some of the blame, or like they feel like they are encouraging you to seek out drama because they are interested in the drama, and they feel a bit guilty, I think, because maybe they feel like they get a bit too excited about hearing about your drama, and so their excitement might motivate you to seek out more drama, to become more exciting to this person, and that they actually don't want you to stop seeking the drama because they like the stories, but that's also something that they feel a bit guilty about because it's your suffering. I don't know, but yeah, that's something that came through. But yeah, I think that's all I have for you. Group number 4. I think, yeah, so I hope this reading was somewhat helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel, and if it wasn't, subscribe to my channel anyways. That would be very nice of you. And yeah, if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more info on how to get one. And yeah, I hope you'll watch my next video as well. And yeah, have a nice day and bye. Hello, group number 5. You chose this Miss Cleo's tarot deck, and I will start with some channeling, and then I will shuffle the cards for you. Group number 5. So group number 5, the people who will choose group number 5. What's the gossip about group number 5? The people who will choose group number 5. What's the gossip? Okay, something about a Cinderella story, and so maybe maybe someone met you at a party, and then you disappeared, and they couldn't find you again, and maybe they haven't talked to you since then. Maybe they didn't get your name, or maybe they didn't get maybe they didn't know how to reach you because maybe they don't have social media or like Facebook or something, and so they don't know how to get a hold on you because of that. So like there's kind of like maybe someone is like gossiping about you because or not gossiping, but like asking other people about you or how to get in contact with you, or asking people if they know who you are, or if they can help them figure out who they were talking to at that party. and that's you, of course. So but I'm gonna do a bit more channeling. So group number 5, the gossip about group number 5. Yeah, I am sensing that maybe this actually is the only gossip about you at the moment, because it's like I'm sensing that for some of you, you might be quite new to, like, maybe some of you started studying, and so you might be very new at your school. Like, you don't know a lot of people. Like, you're maybe a bit of a lone wolf. You don't have so much, like, you don't talk to any of the others, or maybe only a few of the other classmates, or like maybe or maybe you've started started working at some workplace where you are the new guy, and so you don't know anyone working there. And so I'm just sensing that, like, this person is asking around for you, like, if people know something about you, but it seems as if they don't, like, that they don't know who you are either, and so it's kind of prolonging this whole process. Like, it's the Cinderella story where, like, other people just don't know, but of course in Cinderella, the prince figures it out at last, like, but it's this whole process though. But like I think so I am sensing that, like, someone is really eager to get a hold of you, like hold on, talk to you. Like, someone really wants to get in contact with you. Like, they talk to you at some kind of party or some kind of event, or maybe just at work, or like, but I'm just sensing they had a very good conversation with you, and so they just really want to reconnect with you. So with the 8 of Cups here, I think people, like, there's also another thing here, like, I'm sensing that some of you might have withdrawn, like, completely. Maybe you went to, maybe you used to go to parties, like maybe at your school, or like go with your classmates and stuff like that. Like, maybe you had a lot of social contact with with people at your school, but then maybe you dropped out of your school, and so maybe you met someone at a party right before you dropped out of your school, and so he or she was waiting until the next school party or party at your school to talk to you again, and so he went, and then you weren't there, and so he started asking other people if they knew where you went, like why you weren't there, or yeah, like, so you might have disappeared like very suddenly out of people's lives, and especially one person felt like you were like their Cinderella, like they met you, and then you disappeared and they couldn't get a hold of you after that. So with the Death card here reversed, people might be gossiping about your birth, like, because death reversed would be birth. So there could be something about, maybe some of you had a child recently, so maybe that's why you disappeared for a year, and then so maybe that's the thing. But I don't think so. But maybe some of you are very good at reading birth charts, like natal charts in astrology, and so maybe you use that as like a party trick sometimes, where you like go through people's natal charts and tell them things about themselves, and I don't know, and maybe you're really good at it, and maybe people are gossiping about that, or talking about that, complimenting you about how you were very right about it, but also maybe that you're a bit loco, like that it's a bit that you're a bit strange for believing in that sort of thing. But with the Death card reversed, there could also be something about you not letting go of something, like maybe there is something that you need to let go of. Or maybe that's the person who you met at that party. Like, maybe they can't let go of you, or maybe they should be letting go. But I'm also sensing, like, maybe that's the gossip that they get. Like, when they talk about you with others might tell them that they should let it go, because they're not gonna see you again, because you have disappeared, and so they just need to stop looking. But I think this person really felt like you had a very strong connection, and they are really not ready to let that go. But there might also be something about you, that you were holding on to something. Maybe your studies, like if you dropped out of your school, maybe the gossip was, or maybe the gossip used to be, that you were holding on to it for too long, that you weren't letting go of it, that when you actually dropped out, people actually felt like that was a long time coming, that you should have done it earlier on. But yeah. What's the gossip? What else? Is there some more gossip about group number 5? I don't think I don't think there's a lot of gossip about you. Like, I don't think people have like a strong opinion about you. Not that I think you're just very either very likable or just very neutral in most things. Like maybe you've been in a few conversations with people, but you've been like very neutral. Like you haven't taken any sides. Like you've just been saying like that you understand this side, but you also understand the other side. Maybe you've also discussed politics with people where you have said like that you understand that you understand both sides of politics. Like you understand why people are right and you understand why people are left, and you understand both sides and you don't really want to take a side. And maybe some people I think that kind of makes people just feel like you're I don't think people gossip about you because you never say anything that pisses anyone off, because you make sure that you're very diplomatic all the time, that you always say the right thing, really, like the thing that pisses the least amount of people off. Which is a good trait. It's not bad to be like that. But of course, like you shouldn't be like. It's good that there's no gossip. Like the only gossip there is like just some guy who just really just wants to be in contact with you, and some classmates who are wondering like, why did you disappear all of a sudden? But besides that, like there's not more else. The Empress reversed, so maybe maybe some of you have I think like when this person who might who have been trying to get a reach on you, like who's tried to get in contact with you, I think when they asked around about you, they might have met a wall, because people who knew you might have actually told them that they don't think you're interested in love right now, that you're not looking for love, so maybe some people have actually been cock-blocking you a bit in this, because I think people have just said that they don't think you're looking for romance, or that you're not that kind of person, and that you probably wouldn't date anyone who's a coworker or a classmate, or something like that, that you're not that type of person who would do that, or but I'm also just I'm also sensing that maybe some people feel like they like that you're maybe a bit emotionally detached, like you don't get emotionally involved in any arguments, like in any conversations. Like if you talk about politics, you never really get emotionally invested in them. Like you don't get angry if people disagree with you. You don't get passionate about your cause, or like you might talk about everything in a very logical, cold manner, where you don't get emotional about it. Like you might also talk about things in a very rational way, to the point where it's a bit scary how unemotional you get about it. You might have, like when you might have had some kind of conversation with someone about refugees or about war or something like that, where you just talked about it in facts. Like you talked about it very you might have just been very, very logical about it without being like, and people might have felt like you seemed like you didn't really care, or that you weren't emotionally invested in it, or that it seemed as if you were looking at the big picture. But sometimes that can be scary too, when people just see, like when people talk about war in just strategies, and like when they talk about like just the strategic side of it, and like what and money, the money aspect, and like stuff like that, instead of talking about people dying and stuff. So people might feel like you're a bit insensitive, not very sensitive, not towards people like in front of you, but when you talk about political things or talk about refugees, that maybe that you might come with a very logical statement, where you say like that you understand why people would be a bit concerned about the number of refugees coming into a country, that it can, like that of course we should also talk about that, like so I don't know, but I'm just sensing that you might have had some kind of conversation where you just talked about like that you understood both sides. You understood why, of course, yes, we have to help as many people as possible, but that, of course, you also understand why people would be concerned with that as well. Like that everything is balanced, and that we can't always bite over more than we can chew. That sometimes that can lead to no one actually getting any help at all. So like I don't know, but I think there might have just been some people around you who felt like you were a bit scarily detached from your emotions when you talked about it. That everyone else was being very very touchy-feely, maybe even crying, and you didn't really know. Maybe you also maybe this didn't have anything to do with politics, but maybe it was a personal matter where someone came and shared something personal with you, and maybe some others as well, and the other people were crying, and everyone was crying, all and you didn't really know how to react to it. Not that you didn't care. It's just that maybe you're not the crying type, like you don't show emotions to people that way, like you're not comfortable with it. I don't know. But it might have come across as a bit cold to some people, that you weren't so eager to open up for the yeah. With the Six of Wands, I think people see you as like people might talk about you as someone who's very much on top of things. Like you have some people might also like I think people look up to you, but there's also this part of you that's not reachable. Like people can't reach you. Like there is something about you that makes you a bit above others, or people feel like, or maybe people actually see you as a bit arrogant, some people might misinterpret you, or like I'm just sensing that some people think you act in a way where it seems as if you believe you're better than anyone, than other people, that you're somehow above others, or maybe it's because you choose to be alone. Some of you might choose to be alone most of the time, like and of course that's a strength. Like it's a strength to be that independent, but some people might see that as quite scary, because they see independence as a bit intimidating, because some people can't relate to that. Like many people need others in order to function, and so when they see someone who doesn't have that need in their life, they might have a hard time trusting that person, and so some people might have a hard time trusting you because you don't depend on others, and so they can't make you depend on them as they are depending on you. Like so it's never a fair balance. Like someone who needs others can't have a balanced relationship with someone who doesn't need others, because then you would always have the advantage over that person. So I think some people might be a bit intimidated by the fact that you don't need others, that you are an independent person, and that you are a free thinker, and like you don't need other people to validate you. Like you're very true to your own. Like even though you're a bit of a people pleaser sometimes, or and like you like to see the pros and cons with everything, like every possible opinion. Like you might not settle for one opinion, but if you did do that, I think it's just because you don't have one. I don't actually think it's because you're a people pleaser. I think people assume that you're a people pleaser because you always take everyone's side, but I think it's mostly because you see everyone's side, like you agree with everyone, like because you can see where everyone is coming from, and so like you don't, maybe you have a hard time deciding on what you believe is the correct thing, and like what your opinion is, and that is it's also a bit weird to like it's a strange social construct really to have that sort of, like, people expect you to have an opinion about something, and like and be true to that opinion, and if you don't stay true to it, then you are a people pleaser and a pushover, and but maybe, like, why is it so what's so wrong about having every opinion, like understanding every opinion to the point where it makes sense, like where everything makes sense? So like, why would I want to choose one over the other if I can see that both make sense? Like I don't know, but we are supposed to choose one side, and that's yeah. But I think, like, I think people do see you as someone who's very like you are very true to yourself. Like you don't seem to look for validation. You don't seem to like, you don't ask other people for approval, or you don't you're not very you're not so keen on making everyone like you, and that's maybe a bit intimidating to some people, that you don't seem to be so caught up in getting people to like you. You seem to be okay with people not liking you. Like there might also be something about the way you dress. Like you don't dress to impress anyone. Like you just wear whatever you want to wear. Like you're not pleasing anyone in that sense. Like you're not trying to impress. Like, yeah, it's mostly that you're not trying to impress anyone, and that's like even though you sound a bit arrogant at times, like this is a bit all over the place. I know, but I think it makes sense. Like we are all very complex. Like so it's but I think even though people see you as arrogant sometimes, like but it's not because you're trying to impress them. It's the opposite. It's because you don't like, people see you as arrogant because you're not impressing anyone. Like you're not trying to. You don't concern yourself with that. Like you're so that might be the arrogant thing, that people pick up on that if people ask you something, you might have the personal liberty to just say, I don't want to, figure that out for yourself. Like you might tell people, like, yeah, Google it if you don't know, like, or something like that, where other people would take the opportunity to shine and tell, oh, like, now I can tell you the right answer, and and then where you just, like, I don't know, you're not eager to explain things to people. Like some people love to explain things. You might be the type of person who just says, like, figure it out yourself. And people find that arrogant, or people find that, like, antisocial in some sense, where they feel like you're not contributing to the conversation, or I don't know. But with the Nine of Staffs, which is Nine of Wands, I think people see you as, like, some people might assume that that you're a bit that there's a reason why you are so guarded. There's, like, you have some kind of hard shell around you that people can't really get through, and I think people assume that it's because of something you've been through, that maybe you were bullied when you were younger, and so maybe you don't trust anyone, or maybe you were maybe something happened to you that has given you trust issues, or I don't know. But maybe people are talking about that maybe you've been through, maybe you've had a hard life, and maybe that's why you are a bit rough around the edges. And maybe that's also why you can't cry when you're in a sad situation, because you have been because you're used to suppressing your emotions. Or that maybe you, like, maybe it's just like when you're in a sad situation, or maybe some of you have a tendency to talk about some of your trauma from the past, maybe something horrible that happened to you, and you might talk about it with zero emotions, like maybe you might even joke about it when you talk about it, and people might feel like that's like that you're a bit detached from your emotions because of how unemotional you are when you talk about it, or yeah, so I think people see you as I think there is something came through right now about, like, I think people see you as a very beautiful person. So I think people are quite attracted to you physically, like, but they have a hard time coming. They have a hard time getting through to you, or getting a reach, like getting contact with you, or so there could also be something about you being on, like that you don't have Facebook, and so it's really hard to get in contact with you because of that, because that's where many people get in contact with each other, and so but yeah, there might be some kind of barrier around you, either an emotional barrier where people can't really get through to you, or it could be a barrier like that you don't have Facebook, or like even a physical barrier, like I don't know what that would be, but maybe that I don't know, but yeah, I think but people see you as, like, there is especially like that one person who seems to be very interested in you and talking to you again, but I'm also sensing like people look up to you. They want to be your friend, and like people also see you as like a very beautiful person, and so like but there is some kind of barrier, and people feel like they can't get through to you because you have a wall built up in front of you, and it's hard for and it makes people intimidated by you as well, and people might feel like you're a bit cold and a bit aloof towards them, where you might bite people off sometimes, where it might be some kind of defense mechanism. Maybe you have abandonment issues, and so you don't want to get too attached to a person. So as soon as people get too close to you, you bite them off, and maybe even try to piss them off in order to get them to back off from you. I don't know. But there isn't a lot of gossip. Most of the reading was actually more like how people see you, and not how people talk about you, because I don't think a lot of people talk about you. It's mostly this person here who's interested in like knowing how to get in contact with you, and the others, like, I think it's more like what they are thinking. It's not what they are saying to each other. So yeah, but that's all I have for you, group number 5. I hope this reading was helpful, and If it was, please subscribe to my channel, and if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more info on how to get one. And yeah, I hope you'll watch my next video as well, and have a great day, and see you around.